Advance with a sense of purpose. The Law of Aimlessness. Take a moment and ask yourself something honestly. Why do most people feel tired with life, even when nothing is technically wrong? They wake up, they go to work, they scroll their phones, they go through routines, years pass. Yet something inside them quietly whispers, "Is this really it?" This feeling has a name. Robert Greene calls it aimlessness, and according to him, it is one of the most dangerous psychological states a human being can live in. Not because it feels painful immediately, but because it slowly drains the meaning out of life. The invisible drift. Most people believe that failure in life comes from lack of talent, lack of intelligence, or lack of opportunity. But Greene argues that the real problem is much simpler. People drift. They do not consciously choose a direction. Instead, they move wherever circumstances push them. Society suggests one path. Family expectations suggest another. Social media suggests 1,000 more. So people end up living lives that are built out of reaction rather than intention. And when your life is built from reaction, something strange happens. You stay busy, but you feel empty. The mind needs direction. Human beings are not designed to live without purpose. Our minds are incredibly powerful machines. But like any powerful engine, they need a direction to move toward. Without direction, the mind begins to wander. It becomes restless. You start overthinking small problems. You compare your life to everyone else's. You constantly search for distractions. You feel anxious for no clear reason. This is not weakness. It is simply what happens when a powerful mind has nowhere meaningful to go. Purpose is what organizes our mental energy. Without it, energy becomes scattered, and scattered energy creates frustration. Aimlessness creates inner conflict. One of the strange effects of aimlessness is that people begin to feel divided inside themselves. Part of them wants comfort, another part of them wants growth. One side wants safety, the other side wants adventure. Without a guiding purpose, these internal voices begin to compete. The result is paralysis. You start many things, but finish very few. You feel inspired one day and completely lost the next. This inner conflict slowly drains confidence, because deep down, you know you are capable of more, but you don't know where to focus that capability. Purpose is psychological gravity. Purpose works like gravity for the human mind. It pulls everything together. Your thoughts begin to align. Your actions become intentional. Your time becomes valuable. Suddenly you stop asking questions like, "What should I do today?" Because your direction already answers that. Purpose removes chaos from decision-making. It simplifies life. Not because life becomes easy, but because your energy stops being wasted. Why most people never find purpose. Many people spend years waiting for purpose to appear. They imagine it as something mystical, a sudden realization, a moment of destiny. But in reality, purpose rarely arrives that way. Purpose is usually built slowly. It begins with curiosity. Something captures your attention. A subject, a craft, an idea. At first it is just interest, but if you pursue it deeply enough, it becomes commitment, and commitment slowly transforms into purpose. Purpose is not discovered. It is constructed through focus. The distraction trap. The modern world makes aimlessness even more dangerous, because today, distraction is everywhere. Endless videos, endless information, endless opinions. The mind becomes addicted to stimulation, but stimulation is not the same as meaning. In fact, the more distractions people consume, the harder it becomes to develop purpose, because purpose requires long-term focus. And focus requires the ability to ignore the noise. Every moment spent reacting to digital chaos is a moment not spent building your direction. The power of long-term direction. One of the most powerful psychological advantages you can have in life is long-term purpose. When you know what you are building toward, even difficult days feel meaningful. You can endure struggle. You can tolerate boredom. You can face failure, because every step still moves you forward. Purpose transforms effort. What feels exhausting without purpose becomes fulfilling with it. This is why some people work harder than everyone else, yet seem more energized. Their effort is connected to something deeper. Aimless people seek motivation. A fascinating pattern appears in aimless lives. People constantly search for motivation. They watch motivational videos. They read inspirational quotes. They look for emotional energy to push them forward. But motivation is temporary. It fades quickly. Purpose is different. Purpose does not depend on emotion. Purpose becomes a structure in your life. It pulls you forward, even when you feel tired, even when you feel uncertain, even when progress feels slow. That is the difference between external inspiration and internal direction. The long-term consequence of aimlessness. Aimlessness rarely feels dangerous at the beginning. Life still moves. You still make money. You still socialize. You still experience moments of happiness. But the real cost appears later. 10 years pass, then 20. And suddenly a realization arrives. You see people who moved intentionally toward something. You see the lives they built. And you begin to wonder, what would my life look like if I had chosen a direction earlier? This moment of reflection can be painful, but it can also be transformative, because awareness is the first step toward purpose. The path toward purpose. If purpose is not found instantly, how do you build it? The process is surprisingly simple. First, observe what genuinely fascinates you. Not what impresses others, not what society tells you is important, but what naturally pulls your curiosity. Second, commit to going deeper into that interest. Learn more, practice more, study more. Purpose often emerges from mastery. The deeper you go into a subject, the more meaningful it becomes. Third, think in long time horizons. Purpose grows over years, not weeks, not months. Long-term commitment is what transforms a simple interest into a life direction. Purpose creates identity. Perhaps the most powerful effect of purpose is how it shapes identity. When you know what you are moving toward, you begin to see yourself differently. You are no longer just reacting to life. You become someone who is building something meaningful. Your daily habits change. Your environment changes. Your conversations change. Purpose quietly reshapes your entire life structure. The final lesson. The law of aimlessness reveals a profound truth about human nature. The mind craves direction. Without it, energy dissolves into distraction. But with purpose, something remarkable happens. Your actions gain meaning. Your struggles gain context. Your life begins to move forward with clarity. You stop drifting through existence and start advancing through it with intention. And once that shift happens, everything changes. Because the most powerful force in a human life is not talent, not luck, not even intelligence. It is a clear sense of purpose guiding your path forward.